This year at Mobile World Congress, well, first, thank you. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. We brought some really interesting things to Mobile World Congress this year for Lenovo overall and for our Think products, or our ThinkBook products and ThinkPad products. So for ThinkBook, something that's been getting quite a lot of attention for the past couple of days and just prior to MWC is our ThinkBook transparent display laptop proof of concept. Now, this is a proof of concept that I will show you, but it's what we're doing is putting this in front of people, end users, to kind of get some information back from them about potential use cases. We have ideas of what it could be used for, but with proof of concepts, we like to get information back from potential end users on how they would actually be able to use the device. And so the product that I'm talking about today around the transparent display is just that. It's a 17-inch micro LED, completely transparent display. So I think one of the big design innovations or directions that we've started to do a lot more of revolves around ESG, or environmental, social, and governance. This is something that we have done quite a bit on in the past few years with increasing the amount of recycled metals like recycled aluminum, recycled magnesium, the use of post-consumer content plastics. So things like speaker enclosures, battery enclosures, even the keycaps on the keyboard made out of post-consumer content plastics. We've gone completely plastic-free in our packaging, so no more foam cushions holding the device inside of a cardboard box. But another big part of that is around diversity inclusion. So the social part of that ESG. We actually have worked through ThinkPad and our product diversity office at Lenovo, along with the School of the Blind. We've actually created new tactile markings on our keyboard to let people that have vision impairments be able to access the keyboard a lot easier. So we have little tactile markings on our volume up, volume down, the little enter key, the insert key, the volume down, the function key. We've even raised the little LED for when you turn the device on. We've raised that LED so somebody with a vision impairment can run their finger down, find out that's where I need to plug my device in for power. So along the same lines of ESG, there's an increasing request for the right to repair the device. So what we have done, we've worked in partnership with a company called iFixit, and iFixit is globally known as the leader in serviceability and repairability for all types of devices, not just laptops, but also phones to refrigerators. And so we partnered with them after our last generation T-Series product and asked them, what do we need to do better to have a more serviceable, more repairable device? And so we worked with them on the complete redesign of the T14 Gen 5. And just for a few interesting tidbits, you have two screws right here that you can take off the keyboard, and they're clearly marked with a little keyboard icon. But then to replace the keyboard, if somebody were to damage their keyboard or perhaps need to change the language for their keyboard, all you have to do is slide it up, pull it out, and replace the little connector card, and you can instantly replace your keyboard. So if you drop something on it, spill something, or again, you want to change the language on your keyboard, you can easily change out the keyboard with two screws without having to remove the entire back plate. So once you actually take out the rest of the screws, and you can see how easily that goes back in. If you do remove the other screws, and these are all captive screws, so the screws don't fall out, they stay in place. So once you do remove the other screws and get underneath the device, you now have a customer replaceable battery. So two screws that are clearly marked. You take out those two screws, easily replace the battery. Underneath this heat shield, you have dual DIMM slots that can easily pop out to replace the memory or even upgrade to more memory if somebody wants that. You can replace the storage. If you have an LTE WAN card, you can replace that. Even the RJ45 Ethernet port, you can take out 2 screws in the daughter card and replace that quick and easy. All of these parts have a QR code listed on them that goes to support@lenovo.com and lists the exact part, because these are actually linked to the serial number of every device with how-to videos, user guides, so somebody at home with a simple screwdriver can remove these parts and replace them. This has been a big drive for us on this series. This is in our current T14 and T16, but as we look to redesign the rest of our products going forward, we are moving to this type of repairability and serviceability across the rest of our portfolio. So AIPC, from a definition standpoint, is really talking about the NPU. We have always been familiar with a CPU on a product, working with a GPU, and then with the operating system. That's what enables the overall experiences on a laptop computer. Now, with the addition of an NPU, or a neural processing unit, more and more of our software app creators are creating apps to offload to this lower power NPU to help the overall performance of the device itself, but then also bring better battery life to the systems, because those apps are not taxing the CPU or the GPU, it's being offloaded. So all of the systems that we're announcing here at Mobile World Congress are powered by the latest generation Intel Core Ultra processors that do have the NPU on the systems. So technically they fall into the AIPC realm, and using Windows operating system, you can see things like Windows Studio Effects that offloads to the NPU for things like background blur, noise cancellation, eye gaze correction. There's several different things, but we're really going to be reliant now and in the future for ISVs, those independent software vendors, to create more and more apps that are offloaded directly through the writing of code to the NPU. So I think we are in a very formative period right now, instead of doing everything in the cloud, because to this point, everything from an AI perspective has been based in the cloud, which brings up concerns around latency, how fast it can actually generate new content, and also security and privacy. But the more that we can put this down on the device itself, it's going to become faster. It's going, generating content is going to be faster, and then you're going to have the ability to have better security and better privacy, because you will be able to control all of that content down on the device itself. Well, I think it's the usability, and honestly, screen size, the tactile input from a keyboard or a trackpad into the device, the amount of storage, the quickness of the device. We all have phones. We all use phones day in and day out, but I don't see people relinquishing that laptop. And we, from a ThinkPad, one of our pillars is constant innovation, and innovation for a purpose. So as we look to continue to evolve, we will look at new forms, new functionality, something like the transparent screen, but then also, going into a direction to make sure that the devices that we do make, fit with environmental standards that we believe in, that everyone believes in. I don't see the PC going away anytime soon. We're not there just yet. I think people still love that tactile feel of a device where they can store in their information and work on a daily basis.